Hello and welcome to ESCtalk, where for 30 minutes, Eurovision is the main focus. Now, as we all know, the 2018 edition of Junior Eurovision is right around the corner, and so far, over half of the competing entries have been released, meaning that for the next few episodes of ESCtalk, I'll be focusing on these songs, as well as Junior Eurovision as a whole. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the first 10 officially released entries according to the official Junior Eurovision YouTube page, not counting the national final performances. Now, of course, these are just my opinions, so feel free to tell me what you think of each song in the comments below. Now, before we get into it, let's remind ourselves of last year's winner, which was Polina Bogusevich with the song Wings for Russia.
Хочешь быть отважным, окна открыть, силы собрать в кулак, но в тишине твой голос слышен едва, просто скажи однажды, я не боюсь, делая первый шаг и повторяться эхом эти слова, и в одну вдруг зальются 100 дорог. Больше ты здесь не будешь одинок. Я расправлю крылья за твоей спиной. Станет небо ближе, если ты со мной. Крылья ты не потеряй. Выше солнца вслед за мною. Just the humans, but if we want, heaven can be so close. There are no bounds and limits. Somewhere so high, you can get what you want. That's the time, destiny unites our roads. You are not alone. Higher than the stars.
Now, our first officially released song of the year was L.E.V.O.N by L.E.V.O.N from Armenia. The first question that I have about this performance is why have they released a live performance as their official video? Surely they should have put the studio vocals over the live performance if they didn't want to fund a music video. Staging wise, I think it's very interesting putting L.E.V.O.N in a green suit on a blue and yellow background, but one thing I will say is that I think they need to lose the trumpet prop. It really doesn't fit with the stage performance and I don't think it will translate well in Minsk. As well as this, he really needs some backing dancers to elevate the performance to the next level. Song-wise, it's not all that bad. However, a lot of performances in Junior Eurovision are very manufactured and produced, so I'm wary that he'll be a bit overproduced in Minsk. Overall though, he does seem to just be having fun on stage, and with a bit of work on the vocals, it should be a really good performance in Minsk. Our next entry came from the Netherlands and is called Samen by Max and Anna. Although I have a soft side for songs in Dutch, I do think the song has been well received by fans all across Europe. And who knows, maybe they'll win the fan vote if there is one a second time this year. Again, live vocals have been released as part of the official video, which is a bit strange. Nonetheless, the kids nail it live, so there's no issue. I think one of the biggest strengths of this entry as a whole is that the story of young love is relatable to a young person, which in Junior Eurovision is really important due to the fact that it is targeted towards kids. I think the English lyrics are very well selected as well, as instantly a non-Dutch speaker would be able to understand what the song is about. Overall though, it is a traditional ballad with a key change. Very good. And you can get away with that because it's Junior Eurovision and it's cute. Next up, we're going down under to Australia, who once again have gone with a female contemporary number with Jael singing Champions.
You can be anyone if you believe it, you can overcome. Don't stop believing that you are enough. You can be a champion, be a champion. You can go all the way, stand in your courage and be bold and brave. You're gonna rise.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to see Australia take a risk and send something different, because at the end of the day, this is just a box ticker, a strong social message, uplifting chorus, and inspirational lyrics, which we've seen so many times before. Now, eventually this rinse and recycle is gonna run dry, and this style is not gonna work anymore. But for now, the song is acceptable, there's nothing wrong with it, and I predict it will get middle of the board. The music video does look like it's been produced in the UK, perhaps by the same people that produced Cerise, as it's quite low budget, but then again, TV friendly. Vocals, Jael nails them, and I really do hope she can keep the same kind of power to it live as all the other Australian entries before her have. You're listening to ESCtalk, where for 30 minutes, Eurovision is the main focus. For the next few weeks, ESCtalk is going Junior Eurovision mad, and today I'm reviewing the first 10 songs to be officially released. We now move on to Ukraine. Now, from the minute that drum beat kicked in, I could tell Ukraine had gone all out this year, with alternative pop banger Say Love by Darina Krasnovetska.
I say love, not for yourself.
little vocal phrase on the love in the chorus is so catchy, and I can already hear William and Dadon from Weebieblog singing this each and every time they get an interview with Darina. Now, one thing I do worry about is whether the song will sound the same live as it does in the studio version, and whether they can replicate the delay and echo effects that they have on her mic. Now, the video itself is fairly simplistic and low budget, but perhaps, as the same with Australia, perhaps they're saving all their money for a big stage show in Minsk. Only time will tell. Again, I don't see the need for these handheld props, and I think she needs to lose the megaphone. It did work last year for John Luca, but in a weird way, but I just don't think it fits with this song. One thing that she should be very, very careful with though is the whole "Love Not War" lyrics in the chorus, as at the end of the day Junior Eurovision is about music and not politics. As well as this, they're going to be in the same room as Russia for pretty much the whole night. Speaking of Russia, I'm really liking the message of Unbreakable by Anna Filipchuk. Which, from what I can gather, is all about picking up the pieces, literally, and turning negatives into positives. The song again is nothing really special, which is not surprising after their win in 2017, as they're probably trying to keep the budgets low and not win for a second time in a row. Despite this, it does have good potential for a good stage performance. Maybe it is unfair to comment about this, as they're so young and their language is so different to ours, but I do think she does need to work on her English pronunciation to be sure that the message comes across. And I do hope they bring the big panda in the video to Minsk. Maybe Riga Beaver can hop over the border to visit. Just looking at the product as it is, the video is made for kids, just having fun and enjoying life, which is what Junior Eurovision is about. After Mother Russia came Time by Daniel Yastremski, which again is very popular with the fans. I'm really loving the nostalgic undertones to the instrumental, and I can imagine relaxing on a beach listening to this one, with Daniel's voice really complementing the guitar. A lot of thought and money has gone into this entry, with the stunning visuals of beautiful Belarus pairing greatly with the contemporary and modern song, which wouldn't be lost in the charts today. Now, if there were any time for Belarus to really knuckle down and go for the win, it would be apt considering this is home territory, and they are just one win away from equalising with Georgia for the most Junior Eurovision wins. Speaking of winners, here's Georgia's record-breaking Mzeo by Mariam Mamadashvili. listening to ESCtalk, where for 30 minutes Eurovision is the main focus. For the next few weeks, ESCtalk is going Junior Eurovision mad, and today I'm reviewing the first 10 songs to officially be released. You can always rely on a country like Serbia to truly represent their country through their music, with their entry Svet by Bojana Radovanović. It does sound like many Junior Eurovision songs before, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, as some songs like this have gone on to great success. However, this year I feel like it's going to be forgotten amongst some of the stronger entries. One thing that strikes me about this song is that it doesn't follow a traditional structure of a song, as it peaks within the first chorus rather than continuing to grow. It then lets down a little bit within the second verse, only to then pick up again in the chorus, to then drop down again at the end. Talk about taking you on a roller coaster. Now, unless they are able to bring this to life with brilliant staging, much like Ukraine did for Planet Craves for Love, I don't think it's going to pick up a lot of points, in all honesty. Again, the video does showcase the beautiful landscape of Serbia, which is relevant in this case as the song is about the natural beauty of the world. Next up, we're going to Israel, and I'm loving the Middle Eastern vibes from the early onset, as Noam Dadon's voice is so uniquely crafted for his song, Children Like These. Although the tempo and dynamics stay fairly similar throughout the song, its uniqueness comes from the instrumentation that gradually escalates the song into the explosion of colour and personality we see at the end, whilst Noam is complemented nicely by a choir of backing vocals for the final chorus.
להיכנס הכי עמוק אל תוך עצמי, להתפלל שמשהו טוב עכשיו קורה לך, כי את שלי ולא חשוב איפה תהי, ומי יחזיר אותך אליי בשעה כזאת, מי ישמור עלינו, ויתרתי על הכבד.
It feels so good to finally mention Kazakhstan as a competing entry at a Eurovision event. Now, first impressions really do count, and Kazakhstan definitely chose their debut entry well in Daneliya Tuleshova, who, after winning the Voice of Ukraine, seems more than capable to begin her country's junior Eurovision journey with the song Ózińe. I really hope I pronounced that right. although they probably could have chose a more interesting setting for the video than some rocky terrain, it does not take away from the impact the vocals and instrumental have throughout. I don't exaggerate when I say that Kazakhstan are in the run for the win on their debut. If they put as much thought into the stage as they did the performer and song, it should be a given. There, I said it. The final song we're going to be talking about is that of Italy by Melissa and Marco, which is called What is Love? I'm sorry, I just had to do that. In the nicest way, it is a shame that Italy just don't put the same amount of effort into Junior Eurovision as they do the adult one, as was evident in Shelgo last year. I do feel sorry for the two kids. They seem to have been so overproduced that each part they have is almost like reading stage directions. There just seems to be no freedom in this, and I do think it will make quite an awkward stage show in Minsk. Nonetheless, I'm sure the two kids are nice, and maybe I'm just being harsh, but at the end of the day, this really just isn't my cup of tea. Anyway, that is it for ESCtalk's first Junior Eurovision special. But be sure to come back in 2 weeks' time, where I will hopefully be reviewing the next 10 songs, provided that they're all out. Anyway, thank you very much for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to ESCtalk on YouTube and follow Eurovision Talk on Twitter.